Hello and welcome back to another video on how to become a business consulting freelancer. So in today's video, all right, what I'm gonna do is to make a quick recap of the several models that I have learned so far. So first, the section one, which is start building a freelance consulting career, where here is describing what are the tasks that a consultant does, which is conduct research, analyze data, and then present results. Okay, and not only for companies, but also for yourself, for your own research. For example, let's say you want to migrate to a new country, you can do up to a certain point by making a market research. What are your own metrics that you see in that new country, and also the trade-off. So first in this section, we talk about is how to earn the most success for your consulting and expertise and suggestion, which is before craft an offer, find a niche that is already in demand, and then solely of course it must have something that you have interest in, and then solely focus on over delivery value, because no one is obligated to hire you, and it is your job alone to hone into that specific niche and develop a rockstar solid offer backed by your reputation. And again, this is something helpful for a niche or for a profession. Okay, however, when it comes to your personal brand, that actually is not a good idea. But again, this is just to gain traction and to at least put your foot in the door on the market, on that specific niche. Okay, and then, okay, I also look at things like how consulting success looks like, where, well, that you have is cash flow, so the ability to earn income based on the value you provide to others, cash flow, as well as flexibility that you have with this lifestyle, because you can schedule your uh, day-to-day activities in a fine-grained detail, and security, because by securing multiple sources of income, you are not depending to one just particular client or industry. Okay, so I also look at another mistake to avoid here is choosing not in demand service, or not treating your consulting service as a legitimate business. Again, this is part of the fundamentals, and that's the reason why I'm making this huge recap on this. And well, I also look at what are the type of consulting project you can work on. It can be strategic, where you're going to outline is the roadmap to solve the problem, or yeah, to establish the roadmap to solve your client problems. Okay, short, mid, and long term. Something that I already did for a particular client that hired me to improve its Shopify. Uh, how do you say that? To improve its Shopify apps, something called Recipe Kit. But yeah, so he hired me because I provide him value, even though that I'm not an experience with Shopify platforms. However, I have experience as a web developer with over 7 years of experience, roughly 7 years of experience. And now from there, okay, because I show them value, he gave me the opportunity to, well, now dive deep into the Shopify platform. And also, to prove my worth, I conduct a research with ChatGPT and ask that, hey, how can I learn Shopify, at least the bigger picture, in 2 days? That was pretty interesting and pretty fucked up as well. but the learning process, and also because the clients see that this mother person, okay, is able to put a practice, is able to actually, is he looked my intention, period. So, all right, and keep looking at the fundamentals here of how to earn, or how to getting started building a consulting career. Okay, so yeah, the task that a consulting does, how consulting success looks like, as well as what are the type that a project or that a consulting does, whether it's a strategic, something that I talked before, improvements, so identify certain areas of operations, okay, to help that business, as well as implementation. So based on your strategic suggestions and improvement, now it is time to put that at practice. Okay, so I also look at some consultation tips to improve your productivity. So for example, find a way to get you into the zone. Eliminate distractions. Don't forget to take breaks. Focusing on one task and one task only. Stick to your calendar. And some mistake to avoid, especially when you're starting building a consulting career, is that you're not taking yourself seriously as a business consulting. And second is choosing a service that is not on demand. Okay, cool. So with that, all right, then I also look at, when it comes to decision making, follow the Eisenhower matrix, which is things that are important and urgent, do that today. Things that are important but not urgent, schedule. Things that are urgent but not important, delegate. And ultimately, if that's not important, or ultimately, if that is not important or urgent, don't even think about it. Okay. So this is the section one. Okay? At least lay out the fundamentals of how to become a business consultant, which is, at the end of the day, is someone that can solve problems in that particular niche. Okay, the TLDR is that. So you are someone that has a previous experience in that industry or field, all right, and can solve my problems and provide value. So this is the layer one, especially if you're building your personal brand. Okay, layer one. The second section here on the how to become a business consulting freelancer is getting started as a freelance consultant. So first you need to identify your strength and weakness. Okay, so your strengths are anything that you excel, you have experience, or you have interest. Okay, boil down into a set of small interests or tests or topics. Okay, and then down the line you can grow with that. But for this particularly niche that you are choosing, okay, in this case is the software, right? Sorry. So my strength is that, well, I have 5 years of experience with this service or building web applications, as well as when it comes to my interest, I have interest in the fitness, finance, as well as history, in geopolitics, comedy, music. But again, let's go to narrow down this particularly uh, to the profession. Okay, so well, something that I'm going to mention later. But first, identify your strength and weakness, and capitalize on your strengths at first instance. So then Well, it is time to see how you can provide your suggestions, okay? Which is whether it is one-on-one consultations, or you create a product and recommendation, or teaching and training. You create a course and then you sell that. Also, the uh, the specialized service, which is something that I'm doing right now. Okay, so also it's important to protect your business at all costs. Again, this is just tips, especially when you're getting started as a freelance consultant. And then, okay, first, find a niche. And a niche is something that is not a keyword, it's a group of people that have several characteristics. First, they have a large problem to solve. They actively looking for a solution. There are people that are willing to pay for the solution, of course. And it must have something you have interest in. So, in my case, is the so for example, for the marketing, you have marketing, and then you have digital marketing. And once you go down further to that, let's say funnel, okay, you have something like pay per clicks, until you reach a platform, which is Google Ads. Okay, and when it comes now to the software, okay, you have the software, okay, so specifically the web, and then down the line you chooses JavaScript, or the web technologies like this, which is building web interface, so graphic design and web interaction. In any ways, websites. Okay, so you have software, the web interface, okay, websites, and then down the line you can choose is, for example, in my case, Node.js. So with that distinction between the marketing and the software, right? Broadly speaking, of course. Then it's important to now do the next step, which is align yourself with an established platform. So if you're in the marketing, you can choose, for example, the Google platform for that. Or if you are a software developer, you can choose, for example, is Node.js or Rust, Go. And some mistake to avoid, especially when align yourself with a platform. So choosing a platform that is not on demand, go with a platform that you're not enjoying using it, as well as choosing a targeting multiple platforms as well. No, no, no. Again, at least at a service level, as a professional level. All right, and after that, okay, it also is important to mistake to avoid, especially when choosing a niche, that you're going to start with the niche forever, or that targeting multiple niche at once. That's a bad idea. Also, not focusing on your niche as well. So once you identify is the platform, so once you identify the niche that you have interest, and then you align yourself with the platforms, now it's time to create a value statement, okay, that will first set you apart and talk to others. Hey, this is what I offer to you. And creating a value statement help you to simplify that by summarizing your offering, because at the end of the day, the client is only paying you for the value you provide, not how many hours you put it, which is something that happens a lot with platforms like Upwork, people per hour, freelancers. They're not taking their consulting seriously. All right. So after that, so you choose a niche, you avoid the mistake when choosing a niche, you align yourself with an established platform, and then you also avoid the mistakes when choosing a platform. You know how to create an offer, which is creating the value statement. And from there, now it is time to outline is what is the scope of the work, certain characteristic of your offer. So the scope of the work, be huge in communications, as well as don't forget to talk with your client and ask them how consulting success or how success is going to be measured, because this is something that sets you apart. Understand that this consulting is not only offering one single service for that, it's also have a long-term vision, short, mid, and long-term visions for your business. And also something important, one great offer, and this is something that I need to put in practice, okay? So one great offer is not only just one single offering. In fact, a great offering is a value ladder of offering. So following is this particular guidelines here that Paul Mendes described here. So you can start your consultation for free. Again. Don't get this. So don't copy this exactly. You need to understand is the overall perspective with the value ladder. So, for example, with this value ladder, you can start with your consultation for free, and this is to see if you can do some client fact finding, see if you can provide the value that the client is looking for, and then push the client up to the value ladder, especially let's say for account audit or a project audit, okay? Or perhaps you can offer to your client, hey, it will give you is 50 hours at a particular hourly rate. Again, the whole point of this is to first get some money in your pockets, and second, allow you to deep dive into their service. So you can now is based on the money he's providing you, creating a roadmap that will outline, okay, so what will be the things that you're going to implement. And of course, you need to agree with the client, okay? So what are the things that you want to implement? As well as what are the client expectations for that, which is something that I need to ask to the client here. So before moving forward, I would like to ask the client expectation here. So yeah, let me write it down here. Ask the client expectations. How success is going to be measured. Come on, man. Okay. All right. This is what that's one of the reasons why I'm doing is this course review, because okay, I learned all of the theory and now I put in practice here. I'm doing the execution here. Okay. So the ultimate goal of this is to push the client up the value ladder, build recurring clients, create a service agreement. So this will make you look like much professional. Okay, and again, they mention is key areas of consulting. This isn't legal advice, important, but it can outline is common topics or key areas of consulting agreement, right? Which is project overview, scope of the work, project timeline, terms and terminations, compensations, and agreement. So have both party, you and the client, sign and date the service agreement, and initially each page to make it official. So the whole point of once you get this service agreement signed is to, you never promise results. Your promise is your best effort for that. Okay? So in conclusion here, so once you know how to create your value statement and push the client up the value ladder, it is important to now get real feedback from the market. And that's what the next section is about. The section 3 is like, okay, how to land and find high-paying consulting clients. So first, it's important to recognize is the mistake to avoid, especially if you're starting new to your consulting. If you're new to the field, building a portfolio, paying running ads, and not focusing on your skills, because after all, your clients or your future potential client will use your reputation based on that and decide they want to work with you. So in summarize, so the summary here is this, okay? And now, okay, how to get started, especially if you're new to the field. So how to land try clients. So you can treat your clients, especially as your trial clients, to gain value, real world experience. In my case, with Shopify, all right. And so, for example, if in my case, well, because I'm new to this Shopify platform, however, I have previous experience, so I can adjust my price with the client, okay? And also, it's important to reach to some mutual beneficial agreement and be transparent as well. So, okay, this is how to land a client, okay? Especially if you're new to the field for that. That, hey, well, even though that I'm new to the field, I am focused on providing results and outcomes to build my image as a consultant. So the next step is, okay, where to find consulting clients? You have Upwork, which is this work marketplace or an on-demand platforms that connect freelancers to clients in a customer to business relationship here. So when freelancers provide the web development, web design, graphic design, and that kind of things to business, right? So also another place are your existing network. This is very, very, very contextual because if you live in place like you don't have any access to that kind of people, well, it is very, very hard to get something. And also, it's not impossible. It's not impossible, but you're not gonna push the limit of yourself. And also, the last thing is your employment side. So employment side that doesn't align 100% to freelance consultant, but it can help you to down the line do the transition. So especially if you're regardless where is the place you find your clients. It's important to have something called the HubSpot or a CRM, right? The customer relationship management, because this allows you to not only keep track of any conversation that you have, or to identify potential sell leads, or to identify potential prospect sell leads, but also to develop long-term business relationship, which is at the end of the day, that's what you want. So you don't want to do one job once in a blue moon. You want is to build recurring clients while still providing the value and solve that problem. So Then I look at consultation tips. And particularly here is consultation tips to stand up as a consultant, or tips to help you stand up as a consultant. Well, uh, or like, remember that this is a numbers game, and you can say that very very easily. However, when it comes to do that in real life, it's like Jesus. Remember that this is a numbers game, all right? So ask yourself what I'm doing myself. Ask yourself what I'm doing here, and am I putting myself in the best possible position to move forward? Because with that, uh, then you can look at the next tip for improve your consultation is to show your face. Create a physical, or create a distinction between your avatar from yourself. And then I look at consultation sell tips to help you land more clients. First, be an active listener, especially when you're going to conduct a research or if you are in the initial phase of negotiation, do this into discovery demo call or interview. So it is important to listen more. So listen to what the client say. Perhaps it's not telling you the truth. Read their body language. Read between the lines, because you can use all of this fact finding to kind of guide you where the conversation is going, and from there land more additional clients, which is exactly what I. So when I make a meeting and a video meeting with this client that I'm working on, is well, I identify their pain points. I create a document and I create a research for that and identify the pain points, and also what will be the strategy for for short, mid, and long term, right? Because remember, after all, you are building your consulting, and you are. This is one of the mistakes to avoid, especially part of the fundamentals of getting started as a freelance consultant is you're not taking your business seriously. Wrong, deadly wrong. Okay, so another tips for improve your consultation, or another sell tips for consulting is the use speed, especially when when a client contact you. So try to find as fast as possible to reach to them. Okay. The other is the solution selling process, which is something that we're going to talk a little more. We're going to talk about that later on. And don't forget to add free value, meaning that doesn't mean to work for the client for free. It's actually show them, hey, I already put this together for you. Can you show that? Can you take a look at that? Okay. So the whole point of this add free value is something that I did with this client. So before the client hired me, I tell them, hey, you know what? Even though that I'm a well-experienced developer with 5 years on the field, I am new to Shopify. However, I can make a research and ask ChatGPT to learn the bigger picture of that. So because of that, the client see the values, and he thought, yeah, okay, that sounds like you are the kind of guy that I would like to have here. And if I combine that with what Naval Ravikant mentioned, okay, which is mhm, yeah, which something that Naval Ravikant mentioned about, especially if you're doing networking. So if you want to create a network, be the first person of value in your network. And that's something that resonated me vastly. And I also put that at practice. Okay. Now, when it comes to describe here the solution selling process, which was created by Frank Watts. So Frank Watts, solution selling process at Laboratories, okay, once one of the largest computer manufacturing in the world, and now they evaporate that. Okay, so this method of solution selling process, which was originally developed by Frank Watts, the sell process dubbed solution selling. So this is a process that was developed at one laboratories by Frank Watts, and then he began to teaching this selling he began to selling this teaching to Xerox company. Okay, so where the whole point of this is, at least for Crankwheel solution selling process. So Crankwheel is this web app that tracks how users interact in your application. To put it simple, even though they add a lot of copyright content and things like that, it's a screen sharing. So cut your sales cycle in half with instant screen sharing. In other words, it keep track the browsers and it share how the user is interacting with that and things like that, right? Tools for communication profession. Okay, this is their testimonial here. Okay, so okay, this is Crankwheel. Okay, good. You have that in German and Spanish. Okay, exactly. So this is a share screen. It's a share screen tool tailored for sales team. Okay, I like it. Okay. So they have the price. No credit card required for trial. Reverse to individual free. So he created this. So he created this, right? Okay. This is actually a business to business solution selling process. Okay, or business to business commerce or business model. In any case, so they did describe that the solution selling process. If I take a look here at that, the solution selling process. So they describe that, well, it's all about diagnosing the needs of a prospect, and I will add that the opportunity is that diagnose the needs or opportunity that a prospect, and then recommend the right product and service to solve the challenge they're having, and of course take a cut from that. So this actually works for business to business sales process, whereby you need a customer tailored solutions for a prospect or a sale leads. Okay, Because, for example, if you this actually doesn't work for things that sell out of the shell, because there is no need. It's like trying to sell water, sand on the desert. Good luck. So is this. So this process, okay, for this. So this process, we take a look at the happening, no, the consultation cell tips. So this process, okay, is the solution selling process that it starts with the prospect or the journey prospect. This is when you see your right clients, you start to reach out to them, start to get in front of them to get their attention, and then you qualify them. Hey, okay, based on all a list of clients and prospects, then you decide figuring out who are or what are a good fit for you. And this is all asking the right questions. Okay? The solution selling process. So when you qualify, so first is the prospect journey. Okay? So this is when you start to reach, so you find the right client. You start to reach out to them. You try to get in front of them to get their attention. Okay, so once you have a list of clients, then you do the prospect journey, the qualification, where this is when you do even more fact findings about if this client is a right fit for me. And this is all about asking the right question. And I know I'm repeating myself, but something that I'm going to apply as well in other areas, right? So, okay, especially with other clients. But again, start small and then see if you can scale. So do that organically and progressive. Prospect journey. You qualify the client, it's a prospect journey. You find the right client, you start to reach out to them, you start to reach out to them, you get in front of them to get their attention, then you qualify. So based on this list of clients and prospects, what are a good fit for myself? So what is a good fit for me? And this is all about asking the right questions, okay, to see if the client, so to see what the client expectation is and what problems they have, so you can solve them. So prospect journey, qualify. Then you look at the discovery and demo call. Okay, so this is once you qualify the client. Well, this is to do even more fact findings about, hey, can we work together, or is this going to end right there so I can move on to the next part? And ultimately, if the client agreed to say, hey, okay, send me some more information about it, all right. So this is when you send the proposal and add value, meaning that based on your previous experience, you're going to compile and outline several options that the client can go with. Cool. So, especially for clients that wants to, or client will have always a lot of objections. Most of the time, this objection can be boiled down into time or value or budget. So if the issue is with value, you can show your past experience. However, if the issue is with money, you can adjust your price. Or if the issue is with time, you can evaluate if you can provide that value, solve that problem within that range. Okay, as well as you negotiate with the client with a higher price and things like that. So once you know how to handle objections, okay, it's important to secure the payment because this is something that a lot of freelancers and consulting actually fail to that, and then starting to not gain traction, so they get burned quickly. So the whole point of this is to first get the service agreement signed, secure the payment options, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, hourly rates, or per milestone, and then do the so once you secure that, okay, so now it's time to provide your service. And this is something exactly what I have done with this client, by the way. So once I get the service agreement signed, in this particular case, I didn't send any invoice to the client, okay, or any service agreement, because all of that was handled for me with Upwork. So they take a cut for that. And even though I secure the payment option, meaning is that I started to offer this client 15-hour package. Okay, so that from there, as I mentioned on the value ladder, so you gain some money in your pocket and allow you to further down into that niche, okay, or to starting to solve their problems. All right. So the other, okay, is how to invoice your clients. So platforms like Upwork, PayPal per hour, Freelancer actually handle that. However, if you find a client outside of that, well, you can use, for example, PayPal or QuickBook, as well as Sahabook, to generate this invoice for you. And remember that the ultimate goal of this is, once you find the right client, you know how to send a service agreement, you get the service agreement signed, you secure the payment, and then you started to provide value, you gain some traction. Remember that the ultimate goal of this is to scale your business to multiple clients. Because, for example, if you're working for a client and you want to scale that, this will give you resilience and also anti-fragility as well, because now you can solve the client's problem in different industry that allows you to earn more income and with time spend your expertise to different industries. Remember to always be creative, to stand up, okay? As well as don't forget to use CRM tools to keep track every interaction that you're having with your potential clients, and that always getting business leads to your business, and repeat this process. So repeat this process, the referrals, the customer relationship management, as well as the leads and the business here. So section 4, how to conduct proper research as a freelance consultant, is the next section here. So I'm not going to dive deep here, because after all, I just want to make a quick recap of this last couple modules. So to focus on the execution, and then now do it. Actually do it. Okay, so that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.